What if the dollar is green because America was trying to defeat a camera? That sounds strange, but the color of money is not just decoration. A dollar bill is a tiny object that asks a huge question. Do you trust this? Because paper money is a weird idea. It is not gold. It is not food. It is not a tool. It is a printed promise. And the entire history of the green dollar is the history of making that promise look believable. Welcome to History of Everyday Items. If you like stories where ordinary objects turn out to be much stranger than they look, like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for the next deep dive. Before the dollar became the green object everyone recognizes, paper money in America had a trust problem. In the colonial period, different colonies and institutions issued notes with different designs, different values, and different levels of credibility. If you were holding a piece of paper that claimed to be money, you had to ask, who printed this, who stands behind it, and is it real? Counterfeiters loved that uncertainty. Benjamin Franklin fought them with design. His printing firm used nature prints, patterns made from real leaves, because the tiny irregular veins of a leaf were hard to copy. That is the first lesson of paper money. Beauty is not always beauty. Sometimes beauty is security. But the problem did not disappear. During the Revolutionary War, the Continental Congress issued paper money to finance the fight. The notes were supposed to carry the new country's promise. Instead, weak backing and counterfeiting helped destroy confidence. That is how America got one of its most brutal money insults, not worth a Continental. So when the Civil War arrived, the federal government was facing more than a military crisis. It was facing a money crisis. War was expensive. Gold and silver coin were not enough. The Union needed to pay soldiers, buy supplies, move armies, and convince people that a paper note from Washington could actually mean something. In 1861, Congress authorized demand notes. These were among the first federal paper notes to circulate widely, and on the back they were printed in green. That green back gave them their nickname, Greenbacks. But the color was not just a branding accident. The Bureau of Engraving and Printing later explained that green ink was believed to help fight photographic counterfeiting. Early cameras saw the world in black and white. Color details could collapse into gray. A colored back made the bill harder to reproduce cleanly with the technology of the time. So the dollar's greenness begins with a very practical fear. What if someone can copy the promise? That is what counterfeit money really is. It is not just fake paper. It is an attack on trust. Then came the bigger leap. In 1862, the Legal Tender Act helped turn federal paper notes into lawful money for many payments. The bill did not have to be a chunk of metal. It could be a statement from the state. The government was saying, this paper counts because we say it counts, and because the country stands behind it. That was a massive change. A greenback was not only a way to buy bread or pay a worker. It was a visible argument about federal power. Every note said, in effect, trust the Union. That is why the design mattered so much. The portraits, seals, numbers, signatures, borders, and engraved patterns were not random decoration. They were visual authority. They made the paper feel official before most people could explain why. And the fight over trust became so serious that in 1865, the Secret Service was created to help suppress counterfeiting. Today, we think of the Secret Service standing near presidents, but its original enemy was fake money. That tells you how dangerous counterfeiting was. If people stop trusting the money, the system starts to shake. After the Civil War, the green did not vanish. It hardened into habit. Then in 1929, US paper money was redesigned to the smaller, more standardized format, closer to what we know today. The Bureau of Engraving and Printing continued using green. By then, green was useful, available, durable, and familiar. But most importantly, the public had learned to read green as government credit. The color no longer only meant anti-counterfeit ink, it meant stability. That is the strange power of design. If a symbol lasts long enough, people stop seeing it as a choice. They start seeing it as reality. Money is full of those choices. A portrait says memory, a seal says authority, a serial number says control, a border says precision, and green says, this promise has survived. Even when modern US notes added subtle blues, peaches, reds, watermarks, security threads, microprinting, and color-shifting ink, the deep identity of the dollar stayed green. The design changed, but the signal remained. That signal eventually traveled far beyond the United States. Around the world, the dollar became a reserve currency, a trade currency, a crisis currency, a black market currency, a savings currency, and a symbol in movies, music, business, politics, and fear. People who never held a Civil War greenback still understand what a green dollar means. It means American money. It means financial gravity. It means a promise that has become global. So why is the dollar green? Because in the beginning, green helped defend the note. Then it helped identify the note. Then it helped stabilize the note in people's imagination. And finally, it became the color of a country projecting trust. The dollar is green because money is not just counted. Money is believed. And for more than a century and a half, that belief has had a color. If you enjoyed this episode, like the video, subscribe to History of Everyday Items, and turn on notifications for the next deep dive into the objects quietly running our lives.